Dale, you have 2 minutes to respond.
Here we go. A couple things as far as response goes. Mayor's Youth Council, and I'll just get these line by line, was basically was founded by Ted Paul, and we did try to continue that the following year with Matt Tam as the academic advisor. In this school of this nature, students have a lot of activities, extracurricular, and it wasn't necessarily the fact that I got rid of it, but certainly the interruptions and the distractions of everything else caused some problems. As far as police oversight, hopefully we'll touch back on that a little bit later, but I have strong feelings on that. Certainly those police, given the opportunity later with a question, I have a little more detail on that. Appointments, we made one appointment last night. It is a responsibility of the mayor to make the appointments. We do go out and search the residents for appropriate candidates to run, and we did select one last night, which was also a former high school graduate of Petoskey High School. Mr. Paul knows my feelings, or Dr. Paul, on the historic district. We are securing and we are advancing forward on historic district guidelines currently as we speak. The question is whether we're going to have a big stick out there to make property owners conform to it, or provide for initiatives for them to conform. A big difference. This is a free country, and if you own your property, you have the basis for determining what's right with that. The budget is based on the fact that the city charter calls for the budget to be delivered to city council on the first meeting in November. Over the course of the last 2 years, we have received it on that date, we have discussed it, we have had special sessions, and so there's been plenty of debate as far as the budget. The budget, of course, is one of those that bases what our millage is and what we pay in taxes. And as far as Petoskey Point goes, we are working diligently to make sure that that happens. It is an important development within our community that we are working on a daily basis with our attorneys and trying to make sure that comes to fruition. Thank you.
Dr. Paul?
Yes, thank you. Just a few comments. As far as the local historic district, the current mayor talked about design guidelines. These amount to suggestions for what one might do. I've talked with a lot of people about this subject. It certainly does not prevent buildings from being torn down in the downtown. And if we're serious about keeping this downtown, the taxpayers put a lot of money into the downtown. I'm a huge downtown supporter. I love the downtown. But I want to know what's going to be there. And the local historic district is what ensures it will be there. As far as the budget, the charter specifies the last date when the budget has to be presented to City Council. It does not say it could not be presented earlier. And we also could change the charter if we needed to. But we don't need to do that. We need City Council to step up and demand a more thorough process on the budget. With regard to Petoskey Point, I hope we'll be talking about it more today, and we're likely talking about an extension situation. And in that extension situation, I hope we'll be talking about some things the city might want. I might want the developer to actually come to City Council and tell us what he's got in mind. I'm rather concerned that there are back taxes that are not paid. I feel rather strongly there are contractors that probably should be paid and the liens should be removed from the property. I certainly would like to hear his proposals and talk with an attorney about those proposals. I'd like to see what the city needs in return for the concession of an extension. And the city might be interested in an adequate fence around the property, a safe fence. The city might be concerned about roughly $1 million of city land for which the developer has the title to the land and we do not have the money. So we're going to need to talk about those things, and we can move forward if he's got a serious plan.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. Question for you, Captain. They got 4 minutes now or 2?
They have 2 minutes to questions, and then we'll get action about
First question goes to Dr. Paul. What did you establish in your previous term as mayor that bettered our community, and briefly, why are you running again?
Thank you. I think I did discuss why I'm running again. At this point, there are several key issues before the city, and I would take a different approach and direction. I think I had a very productive first term, was very happy about some things we accomplished. One thing we accomplished, which seems rather simple and straightforward, was to actually get the agenda out for the Friday night paper before Monday's meeting. Previously, the agenda had not come out for the public until Monday night's paper for Monday night's meeting. That was totally inadequate. Surprisingly, there were council members who fought that move. I very much, talked about some of the other things. I started advertising openings on boards and commissions. That had not been done. I also formulated an application form for people. As we talked about, I did form the Mayor's Youth Council. I researched that and I wrote the legislation for that. I also started the process of city manager evaluations. That was a high recommendation from the Michigan Municipal League. Besides adding an element of accountability, it also allowed for better discussion between the city manager and the city council, hopefully so they're on the same page and moving forward. We had prolonged discussion in my term about replacing the city attorney. There was an opening in the city attorney position. There was much discussion about the cost of that move. I was told by some people that hiring our local firm of Plunkett & Cooney, which has resources and attorneys around the state, would be problematic because their costs were higher. They were a big firm. I felt there would be efficiencies in using this larger firm of specialists, and I think that was true. We've saved the city of Petoskey $130,000 each of the last 2 years by doing that.